you guys all this more money. Alright, so we're gonna match your foundation color. And let's just see. So you're pretty neutral down here. Your face has a lot of red, but you're pretty neutral. So you want to stick, you don't want to go too yellow. A lot of places like to do really yellow foundation. Like, do you watch Netflix shows and everybody's like so yellow?
Yes,
Why is that on Netflix specifically? Like, they must have different makeup
You're
artists for
right, though.
everything, but it's Netflix shows are the worst. And they're so yellow. I don't know. But don't, you know, you want to go more towards like neutral or pinkish for you because you do have a more neutral to pink tone. So let's do.
And I want to hide my eye wrinkles.
Oh, yeah. God, I need an eye lift. I have like no eyelids. I feel like I'm like walking around like this pretending like I have eyelids or something.
Oh my god.
Alright, let me just, we're gonna swatch this and see. Alright, so that blended right in. Now, our only problem, so this is the color. And I'm gonna put it, let's see, does that look pretty true? That looks pretty true on there. I'm gonna give you some to take too, but okay, so that was you. Okay, so that is going to be, what are you? WB3, and so it's mostly WB3, and then it's a drop of CB5. So I'm gonna write that down for you.
Okay.
Just give me a little back of it. And then aftercare paper. Not that you need to get this by any means, because then you're going to be mixing it, and I don't know that you want to do that, but I don't want to not give you the information. And then you're like, oh, well, I actually liked that better. Alright, so we're at WB3. So it's probably like a 90% of the one and like 10% of the other. The one was a little too light and I needed to just deepen it a little bit.
Okay.
So, and then that's going to change in summer and stuff too, especially you guys go to the beach a lot.
Yeah.
Now the only problem with this is you do have some pink. So if I go in right with this, we're still going to maybe see a little bit of the pink through. So what we're going to do first is the littlest bit. Okay, so this is maybe where Olympia was going a little off kilter here. Was she using green correctors for the red?
Maybe.
Because you were saying about looking green.
Yeah.
So this is, now this you don't have to mix, and this is really good. And it's like a skin tone based green, so it's not like green. Like sometimes when you get at like Makeup Forever, have you ever seen the Makeup Forever ones? It's like minty green.
Yes.
And that's not gonna look nice no matter what. So usually you would not sheer a concealer down, but for the purpose that we're using it for, because we want to just kind of slightly correct that red.
Yeah.
I'm taking my primer. You could use a lotion.
Oh,
And I'm gonna sheer. Look at how so we're gonna put the littlest amount of that just to help with the red. A really small amount. And I'm keeping it mostly in the center of your face because that's where the redness mostly is. And you don't want to get rid of it completely because you do have some pink throughout, so that would look really weird. But we'll just tone it down just a little bit. And I'm just gonna do half for now. And then you can take a look and kind of see and compare and contrast. And then we'll do the other side. I like to do like the side-by-side comparison for everybody. Because then, you know, again, you might not buy the stuff I'm telling you here. You might have to go and buy it yourself. So then you have the way to compare it. Like, okay, this is what it was supposed to look
like. Exactly. So are you just mixing lotion with it because it's a cream to begin with? Or
it's so thick. Like, see how thick that is?
Yeah.
And then you see how, like, sheer that makes it?
Right.
So you're a little pink, but you're not like, I don't need to go nuts with it.
Right.
You would look green or weird or like yellow or something. So if you used it at its full capacity, it would just be like,
see, okay.
now maybe if you had like some horrible blemish or something, and you're like,
Mhm.
oh my God, it's like, maybe you wouldn't
Yeah,
wanna
then you'd be like, okay, get rid of
yeah,
it.
you don't want to shear it down, maybe. But at this rate, you want to shear it just a little bit. Okay.
So now you just intentionally or accidentally touched my brow with it.
Oh, I probably did it by accident. I went around it.
Well, I'm just paying super attention. It's not a
Okay.
criticism. I
Yeah.
just want to know.
So I might have bumped you, but I was trying to go around because
Okay.
I hate. Do you ever see that too, where they kind of just stop and they stop
Yes.
and they stop, and you're like,
Yeah,
they
it's
see
weird.
it all.
It's like, it
Sorry.
looks like you're wearing a mask. It doesn't,
You didn't do a good job there. So I try to get up and around like all those little edges because that really bugs me when I see that.
I know, I don't like that
Oh
either.
my God, it makes me feel crazy. All right, so it's not a huge difference, but take a look. Do you see?
Oh yeah, I can see.
And I hardly put any on. Like, you see how much is still left on here?
Right.
I hardly used anything. And let me get the smaller mirror for you too. So you can see it up close.
I also see my mother when I look in the mirror and I don't like it.
Yeah, me too.
Oh yeah, definitely. Oh, you see, I have all this blemish stuff going on. But yeah, that made a big
But
difference.
like,
already.
honestly, even with no foundation, it's just like, oh, look, my skin just looks like it calmed down.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Yeah, because I'm trying. Yeah.
Yeah. Like this one, you could definitely get this from Mud and just get it, and it's huge. It comes like that big of a thing of concealer,
Oh,
and
that
it's
would
that
last a
concentrated, you would
lifetime.
last forever. You'll be like 75. I'm finally running out. Gotta put it in your Oh man, so just like that littlest bit of this is gonna do it.
Is this the stuff you use like on Olympia too at the photo shoots?
Sometimes, yeah. It's the same brand that I use.
Mhm.
I don't think I do this all over her face usually. I might have in the past, though. Maybe in the summer.
Oh yeah.
With that little pinkness or whatever.
Mhm.
We got a good one. How's she liking everything at school?
She
doing
loves
okay?
it.
Good.
Oh my god.
She seemed like she was like when we were talking at the shoot, but sometimes.
Well, she's had me a little bit worried in the fall. Like it was like,
Yeah.
oh my god, Olympia, you're like. She didn't know if she wanted to still major in that. She wanted to go to a different school, and she had nightmare roommates. And I know
Oh
it was.
yeah, I forgot
just-
about
yeah.
that part. I remembered all the other stuff. I forgot about the roommates.
Mhm.
That makes everything like 1,000 times worse.
Right.
Because you can't escape anything then. You're just
Right.
stuck.
So that's why I was like, okay, regroup. I didn't say no to switching schools, but she also thankfully realized that's not what she needed to
Yeah,
do.
that wasn't the answer.
And I was
in.
encouraging her to just do stuff with other people. You don't want to just do it with the people in your house anyway. So it forced her to, not like she's an introvert or anything.
No, but it is weird when that's so many transitions. She
Right.
probably wasn't being as social as she needed
Right.
to.
And these girls, I don't know if I told you, but they don't even talk to each other. There's 4 girls in a house, and the only method they use to talk is text, even if they're all in the house.
That's really weird. I get it if you're like all the way across, or you're just like, I don't know, but like that's weird.
Like, never. Like, it's weird. Like, even if somebody has their laundry in the washer, and they, like, say you wanted me to get it out, you wouldn't walk up to me and say, hey, could you get it out? You would send me a
Just
text.
text.
Like, it's just simple
It
stuff.
is weird.
So, thankfully, she met a whole bunch of different people. It was actually good for her, because even if they were friends, she would have limited herself to just those 3 girls.
Yeah, that wouldn't have been good. It
Right.
probably would have been worse if they were
Right.
good roommates. She would have only had like a very like this college
Right.
experience.
Yeah,
with school box.
exactly.
Yeah.
But she's the captain for students. She's on this board. It's called the Hidden Opponent, I think it's called. It's for sports kids. It's talking about mental health
Oh, that's cool.
for kids in for athletes.
Yeah.
And so she's a captain for that organization, and she's working at the school in her department. So she's meeting and getting to know the professors there.
Oh, that's amazing. Good for her.
Yeah. And she just sent Jackie and I a text today that they asked her to interview to be a tutor next year for all these AT courses that she took and did so well in.
Nice.
So I'm like, holy cow. Like, that was
That's
amazing.
amazing.
Yeah.
She's a good kid. She, like, I don't know. She just seems to, like, be able to watch and figure out and then do. Even if she doesn't do it perfectly the first time.
Right.
Like, she's very, like,
Right.
good at auditing herself, I guess, and
Yes.
seeing where she needs to, like, improve, and then she does it. And she
Right.
goes and she does it.
Yeah, the killer is in high school,
really-
she
that's
didn't
impressive.
want to do it. So I'm like, Olympia, if you don't get good grades, you're not going to college. Like, it was that.
Yeah.
But now that she's at college, I guess in realizing she's her own destiny, she creates her own destiny.
Yep.
She is like on it.
Mm-hmm. Good for her.
Yeah.
She was like at the shoot too. She was kind of like watching. Maya's like very like skilled at modeling. She's really, you know, so she was like picking up on, you know, and you're like watching her watch, and you're watching her kind of like learn and pick it up. It's neat because you're like, most people just don't. They either give up or they just don't understand where they're going wrong. They don't care to try to figure it out. So it's cool that she actually is like, she does all the stuff.
Right. Yeah.
All right, so we have half of our foundation.
Okay.
All right.
Yep.
And then, hey, baby.
Hey,
Hi.
how you doing?
This is Mary Teresa. This is Olympia's mom.
How you doing?
I don't know. I'm sure I've told you about Olympia. She models for some of the shoots sometimes.
Yes, I've heard the name. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you. So, are you moving into that space over there?
We've had that's the whole thing. We've had that space in September.
Oh my gosh.
But I was using that space, but I also was subletting to stations to hair people. So I had 2 stations for skin, and we had 2 stations for hair because I didn't have employees. Something, oh, this is gonna be really weird. Like, I need more stuff in here, and it'd be nice to have help with the rent. Whatever. So, and I also was like, oh, cool. I had all these dumb ideas in my head. Oh, that's business off of each other. It's gonna be great. She was the biggest, sloppiest pig I ever met in my life. I'd come in there and be empty pizza boxes in there, empty muffin boxes.
Oh, no.
She's using my supplies for things and then saying it's not happening, and I'm making it up and I'm being nitpicky. And I'm like, that's not, you know, if I look like I can't afford popsicles for a wax, I mean, popsicle sticks, that makes me look like an idiot. And she was like, using my popsicle sticks. I would go to offer a client a bottle of water, and she's sitting there drinking them. And I'm like, and she acted like I was just being ridiculous over inexpensive things. And I'm like, it's not. You don't replace it. You don't tell me we're out of it. You shouldn't have been using it in the first place.
Right.
And then I look foolish when I come in and try to do my services. I look like an idiot. And that wasn't even the worst of it. The worst of it was she was always playing Christian music, which is super weird when you have people coming in from any different culture. We have the college right up here. I mean, that's really not comfortable for everybody. I don't care what you believe. Like, that's not good business practice. We're not Hackman's Bible Bookstore. Like, come on. And I still was letting it all go because I was like, oh my God, her lease will be up in September. I just won't take clients over there. I'll just do things over here.
Oh my gosh.
You know, and I'm like doing this in my head. I'm like, oh my God, I can get through it. Because, you know, it's a small industry, and you're trying not to piss everybody off and have everybody say stuff about you, whatever.
Right.
I had a conversation the one day with her employee, and she goes, yeah. She's like, I don't know what she's doing. I mean, she always would, like, say that she was, like, I'm not ball. She didn't really love working for her, which this part's super weird. She goes, yeah, I don't know what she's up to, this, that, the other thing. She goes, and she hasn't paid me since we've moved in here.
Holy cow.
And that was just 2 or 3 weeks ago. And I got on the phone and I called my lawyer, and he was on vacation. I wanted to try to give him more notice to get out. I said, I need them out. I was like, I can't have somebody in here who's not paying her employee.
Right.
And that's gonna fall on me. And like everything. What the heck? I'm like, no. And I opened this business so I could pay, my girls all make more profit than I make profit.
Oh my
Every
gosh.
one of my employees makes more than I do on their services. Now, of course, on my services I make more, but they're making more profit per service than I am. Like, I'm covering my costs of things and making like that much. And I opened the business for that purpose, because I thought all these things were so unfair, and all these employers were so unfair, and they're working their girls to the bone, and they're giving them 50% or less. Like this, for example, there's a lot of girls that do this. They provide their own supplies, they drive to the job, they do everything, and they only get 50%. All the person does is set up the job for them.
Wow.
And they only get 50%. And I thought, well, this is incredibly unfair. We're not going to do that.
Right.
And I go to the schools and talk so much, and I kept hearing it so much, and I thought, somebody's got to do something different. And now she's in here just not paying an employee. I'm like,
Not
this
even
is
paying them.
literally the opposite of why I started my business. You can't
Right.
hear. So, and then when I called my lawyer, and he was on vacation, he calls me back, and I said, well, I'm going to give her at least 2 weeks notice. I said, this is crazy that I'm just going to kick her out by April 1st, and it's the end of April now. And he said, no, she's got to go. He said he gave her till March 31st. He didn't even give her first. After I told him everything, I told him, he goes, nope, she's got to go, and she's got to go now. I was like, oh, okay. It was interesting.
Thank God you had a lawyer.
Yeah, thank God. He's a good family friend too. So
Oh, thank God that too.
Yeah. So I really trusted and believed him when he was like, oh no, she's got to go. All right, so I placed a shadow right at your cheekbone here, and you don't really need to do that. I'm doing a couple extra things for all the looks. Now this, if you were just doing zooms, just skip this. You know what I mean? But if you're like, oh, I want to look a little more done up for going out or his graduation eventually, or whatever.
Right.
Then this is where we're doing it. So I started at the back of the face, because you're picking it up, you're loading up your brush, you have the most on your brush at that point.
Okay.
And the shadow is the darkest at the back.
Okay.
So then you start at the back and bring it forward, and then by the time you get to the front, you have just a little bit there.
Okay. And
So,
now you picked, how did you pick?
So these are the colors that I have here. And I just process of elimination it and picked this guy, because to me, way too dark.
Too dark, yeah.
That's too dark too. Way too light, way too light. These are our highlights, but you know what I mean.
Okay.
So it was that one makes the most sense. But
So it makes sense to use a brown though.
yeah,
right?
a neutral brown, not an orangey brown.
Yeah.
Because the orange, more neutral. So you can also look and just find natural shadow falling somewhere on your face and try to match more or less to that, because that's what's going to look the most natural on you.
Okay.
So, but this is an extra step. This is not
And
everyday.
so under the cheekbone.
Yeah, it's you find your cheekbone and you kind of place it right at the bottom part of that bone, and then you blend it upward so that you don't make it look droopy. They do that a lot. Do you ever see the younger girls too? They're
Very heavy too.
You just look like you're in your mid 40s and you had plastic surgery. It doesn't look like Delta Burke or something.
Oh
That,
yeah.
Look, I'm you look like you're in Designing Women. We're the sugar bakers.
Oh my God.
Oh my God. So I would just keep it nice and lift it up. We don't want to have that weird drawn look.
Some of the makeup I see, I'm like, oh my God. And clearly you put a ton of effort into it and you look like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you spent a lot of time to look real crazy.
I know,
I agree. I see some stuff sometimes. Oh my gosh, I was at not an exciting movie premiere. It was Dan Roebuck. So he's local to here, but he works in LA and stuff too. But he does his local little films, and
Okay.
that's downplaying it. They're really involved productions, but they're not big, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it wasn't some big famous thing I was going to, but of course people are dressing up like crazy and doing all these things. And this one girl, all hair, just so, it looked
a big streak.
Yeah, and it was so shimmery. It was a giant streak and shimmery. It looked like a disco ball got stuck around. Honestly, you did that on purpose, huh?
Oh my God. Yeah, a lot of people wear too much of that highlighting stuff. I'm like,
yeah, it's really intense sometimes. Yeah. So I use highlighter that's matte, and just a little bit. And again, this is another part, an extra step. So I'm just kind of showing you everything to get the A to Z. But yeah, oh my gosh, some of these girls, I'm like, geez, Liz, take half of that off.
Yeah, really. So when you were using a smaller brush and you were painting up close to the corner of my eye, which color were you using?
Oh, I was just kind of blending the foundation in with a
Okay.
clean brush because sometimes, you know, it just like settles or sits.
Okay.
So under the eye area, I like to use a small brush to just help to blend everything so it doesn't settle down anywhere. Even on 14-year-olds, I do that because everybody has like so
Right.
much movement in there. So
Yeah, we
really
couldn't get it
little.
right with that either when we were putting it on because it seemed like it accentuated the wrinkles under my eyes.
I got, yeah. So the highlight or the concealer did?
I don't know.
Okay.
It's
We'll
been a
figure it
while,
out.
Katie. But yeah, it must have been highlighter.
So here, I'm gonna put this brush up here.
Okay.
If you use a brush like this and you use it, highlighter too, you can use it for whatever, but if you're using something like that around the eye area, so here, let me grab an under, your under eyes really aren't dark.
No, they're not very dark.
Yeah.
No.
Like honestly, I would skip under eye concealer on you
Okay.
because your under eye isn't dark, but here, let's pretend I'm putting concealer on here. I would pick for you right now at this current moment, I would pick this one, which is a blue corrector.
Okay.
Blue corrector 2, but then there's darker ones too. In the summer, you probably go up to a higher one. I don't know that you're gonna need one. So, but let's just say you're using concealer. We're pretending we have concealer on.
Okay.
You would go up under in here.
Okay.
You would get the littlest amount, and then you would just kind of do like this.
Oh, okay.
And then just like, so this corner here and like that right there would be the only places you really usually do it anyway, and you don't need it. But this little brush, because it's, a lot of times you're gonna use a concealer brush like this, which is fine. There's nothing wrong with it. Picks up a lot of product. It like really lays it down nice, but it lays it down really thick.
Oh,
And
okay.
it's not getting into, you know what I mean? It's not being
Yeah,
like buffed
it's
into
not-
the skin, where if you use something like this,
It's softer than.
yeah, and it's kind of like buffing it in, it's softening everything up. So you could always just use this guy. You could even just use this guy with nothing on it too, and just make sure you've got everything softened and buffed out there. And then if you wanted to take a look with like the highlight and the contour that we have, then our next step is gonna be this guy. And then if I get to anything where you're like, okay, I have a really hard time doing this, let me know, because I'll stop and I'll just do one side and I'll have you do the other side on that.
Okay. And now, am I supposed to put anything like?
Some people do, and I don't know, like, if I do that to myself, and I don't think it would be good on you either, because of how our nose is right here. My nose gets really skinny here, and yours gets kind of skinny there too.
Yeah.
And I feel like that would almost make it look weirder, right? Like
Yeah,
it would
I
almost
think-
accentuate that, because when I've done it, it makes this look like so much bigger that
Yeah,
this in
that's
comparison looks so
exactly-
much skinnier.
Yeah.
So maybe if you had a wider bridge.
Right. But
yeah,
otherwise,
but
no.
well, we have skinny bridges.
Yeah.
I think it just looks like whoa, weird. All right, so we're just gonna do some powder, and you can even grab Airspun powder. It's not an expensive one. You can just
Okay.
get it at the drugstore. The thing with powder here, hold on. You want to just feel this. So just like feel that, rub it between your fingers, and feel it's like silky.
Oh yeah.
So if it's silky, it's good. This guy I think is a little bit gritty. This is gonna be, it's pretty, so it's a little grittier. It's not gritty, but it's, you know, it's
Oh,
not
yeah,
quite
it
as
is.
silky.
Right.
So when I use this guy, on a normal day it's fine, but if I use this guy for camera, it picks up every little everything. So if the thing with powder is more about it being like so silky, you want it to be
Okay.
like really silky, because if it's like that, then it's not gonna like settle up and just like sit on the surface.
Okay.
Unless, I mean, if you put a crap ton of it.
Well, yeah. I mean,
All right. So, and I'm doing like a pressing, patting kind of a motion
Mhm.
here. That way we're not moving any of the makeup that we just put on. We're just setting it right into place.
Oh, okay.
If you put too much on, if you're like, oh boy, I really look heavy and it looks really cakey, you could definitely buff it in, and then it would just kind of shear down your foundation as
Okay.
you go. But if you're like, oh, my foundation looks super nice right now, you're not gonna want to buff that all out.
Right.
You want to kind of leave it be. And then I'm not gonna put powder on that one little spot on your jaw. I'll do a little concealer there.
Okay.
Although this foundation did cover it up pretty good. There we go. So that doesn't make much of a change. It's just, stopping all that shine that's happening. And then for your cheeks.
Yeah, I like that. Because like Olivia sometimes doesn't put the powder on and then she looks shiny.
Yeah, and that looks nice sometimes. Or
If
like
you're
a
19,
little,
it looks
a little
okay.
bit here or there. But
Right.
like, oh yeah, even the younger ones sometimes it's really like a lot.
Yeah, I can't stand it.
Yeah, it's like a lot.
I know, I'm like, my goal in life is to not have my face look greasy, and I feel like when lots of people do that.
Well, and some of these things, it's like it exists and it looks beautiful in that photo shoot where you saw it, but once it's out of that set,
Yeah,
it's just not the same.
No,
It's just
no.
not when you're like moving around and living your life. It just looks weird. All right, so we could do a blush or we could do bronzer. I know you're out at the beach a lot, so maybe you would prefer bronzer because you're used to like that tan kind of a look. Or what I would say if you did want to go with blush would be to go more of like a peachy kind of a tone with the blush. So like this guy, this guy, this guy.
what do you
Like
recommend? Like for
Either way.
like, cause like I want to do it like every day. I want to look nice every day.
You could do both. I mean, you could do both at the same time, or you could just kind of switch back and forth. What do you do now? Like, what would
I
be
just use
different for
blush.
you to see? Would bronzer be different for
Yeah,
you to
that
see
would
on
be
yourself then? Okay, so let's do that. Because I don't know. I'm one of those people where I'm like, it depends on your mood. Because sometimes you do want to be a
Yeah.
little more bronzy, and sometimes you do want to be a bit more blushy. So this, I'm starting at the apple of the cheek, kind of doing a little circular, and then going backwards with it.
Okay.
And then we're kind of coming up into where we did the highlight, but not overtaking it. Just a little bit, just enough.
Okay.
So it all blends together and we don't have the Neapolitan ice cream look.
Yeah, we don't want that look.
All right, so there we go. So there's the side with it and then without it, so you can kind of take that.
Oh wow, yeah. Oh
I
my
think
god.
that looks really nice on you.
Yeah, that does. That makes a big difference.
And this is a nice, and I think they're better at bronzers now. It's so weird. I really don't makeup shop that much. I kind of just stick to like what works and I don't venture too much, but I do feel like they've gotten better at bronzer colors. So this is Mud's Ginger. It's listed under their cheek colors. They have bronzers. To me, the bronzers, the last time I saw them, were a little too warm. So I prefer this one. Some companies, they all used to make them really warm. Remember, they were like orangey bronzers.
Yes. Oh my god,
Not
yeah.
attractive. So I know NARS has glitter a lot in their stuff, but NARS has a nice one that's like a good color, but a lot of times they've got that extra glitter. I feel like Makeup Forever would definitely have one that's not going to be like weird. But I do feel like, was it Tarte or somebody? Somebody had a weird one. I was like, one of my students brought it in and it was like this big and it was just orange. And I was like, oh, no.
When I was in college, a girl that lived on our dorm floor wore tons of makeup. Oh my god. But her base, her foundation was so orange that we called her Eraserhead.
Oh, that's a good one.
She looked like...
That's a good one.
We weren't trying to be mean, but I'm like, oh my god.
I know. There was this woman that I used to call Basketball Face. She was actually a makeup artist too, and she would do the most orange foundation. And like the one time she came into Sephora to get foundation, and she was like just asking us for suggestions for her personally, and I matched her correctly. And she was livid. She was not happy with me at all. And she wanted it to be like Donald Trump orange. I mean, worse than that. Like really orange. orange. And what is with that and him? Anyway, I mean, he's got so much money. Why isn't anybody like, bro?
Yeah, between them and his hair, none of it makes sense.
Yeah, like you have
And he has
so
a
much
model
money.
for a wife.
Yeah.
Like,
Why isn't anybody saying, excuse me, sir? Let's take you to a really nice spa and salon.
yeah,
You
really.
need a little bit of
And,
help,
I mean,
sir.
his kids have, you know what I mean? It's not like his kids walk around with horrible makeup. I don't know.
It's so weird. It must just be what he likes because after all this time, I mean, it's the only explanation, but I don't get that. But yeah, this chick wanted to like compete with his orange and she probably would have won. So weird.
Wow.
Oh, thanks, JC. Alright, so I'm just going to take a little brush again and use that to set that little spot that we did there. Alright. So we'll do bronzer on this side. And then like any time that you get a new makeup, I'm sure you know this, just make sure you take like less on the brush than you think. You never know how intense or not it's going to be. I feel like usually drugstore stuff is not very intense. But every once in a while you're surprised and you're like, oh,
Right,
hello.
you're like, oh my god, yeah, here's a big stripe on my face now.
Like students over the years with everybody bringing stuff in for me to use on them, I would always be like, hold my hand a little bit first to like really see what I was
That's
working
smart,
with because I didn't want to be like, oh, whoops.
Yeah.
I lose all faith in you. Alright, so we got that. So I mean, bronzer looks really nice on you. You definitely go with that. But again, I think like these peachy and more neutral tones. So this is rose beige. So it's like a neutral pink and then these two peaches.
Okay.
Anything like that would be pretty. I feel like this would be pretty on you, but you would have to have like a whole vibe going, right? Like it's kind of bold, it's a little bit whatever. So you could go with something like that if you wanted to have like, oh, I'm doing like this whole pink look and I'm doing like a pink dress and you know what I mean? If you're doing like this soft like pink look, but just for like normal, I think that would be a little aggressive.
I've used that berry, kind of like that berry color, but I
feel like that would look pretty on you too.
but sometimes it gets lost.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because of this color of my skin
Yeah.
and everything.
Alright, so let's do eyes. I keep that really neutral too because it's the prettiest and it's always feels safe. So we're gonna go into this brush. So I have a million of these guys. So we're shooting more of those again. And then let's see.
So do you do the eyeshadow before you do the liner and mascara?
Yeah, so I do eyeshadow first, and that's also why I asked you about like getting messy with the foundation. If you end up that you're messy with your eyeshadow, if you start realizing that, then you can do your eyeshadow before your foundation.
Oh, I see what
You
you're
know,
saying.
you can do
Okay.
that. But yeah, I always do the liner after. Unless you're going, if you want to do like a really, really soft look, it'll soften it up. But I feel like with the little bit of fallout that you have, it falls onto that liner and it like softens it as you're working. So it just depends, you know? And especially because you don't do top eyeliner, you know what I mean? You probably could do that bottom eyeliner first if you wanted to. Alright, let's see. Looks good. I'm gonna have it open for a minute. Looks good. So I'm gonna come in with.
So you used that first.
Oh, I ended up using. I was thinking about that one,
then.
but I ended up using this one. So here, let me do a little like that guy there. Okay, and that's Bone from Mud. But I mean, if you get, I feel like if you went to Sephora, let me look this up though, because there's two different palettes. There's the it's on my phone. There's the Hermione palette. There's all the naked palettes. There's 1, 2, you know, 1 and 2. I feel like 1 and 2 are both really good. And then they get kind of orangey ones and some purpley ones. I don't know, but 1 or 2 would be good.
Okay.
And I'll, if you remind me at the end, I'll look it up and tell you which one.
Okay.
Because they're both pretty neutral. They're both like more basic browns, and they have, it's kind of like this, where they have like, you know, like these different and it's not that expensive. It's maybe like $40 or $50 for the palette, and a little bit goes a long way with those colors. And they're very neutral. You'll use the whole palette. Like there's probably no color on there that you couldn't use because they're so neutral. So we're just doing this base color everywhere. But I know one of those palettes, well, both of those palettes have nice base colors, but one of them has almost exactly that color.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And then let's do, I'm going to take this color. You're going to keep your eyes open for me. And I'm going to go right in this little corner here. And just kind of intensify a little bit here. We're not going to go nuts.
Okay.
Really, really snazzy for your zooms. Like I'm here. Hello.
Yeah.
So,
Part of the problem with the Zoom stuff is that my desk is in the basement. So, you know, I
your
have-
lighting.
I think I have to change the
You have to do your
lights.
ring light with your zooms. Oh my god, that would be really funny. You probably could do that.
Well, I was actually thinking about change. Like I have, you know, recessed those can.
Oh, yeah, those cast weird shadows.
Yes.
Mhm.
Yes, exactly. Depending on where you are, and plus the ones I have like the yellow, you know, the natural.
Huh?
Leather.
Yeah.
So I was thinking of changing the ones by my desk to be the ones that are white
Yeah.
light instead. Because
Yeah.
I mean, I look terrible.
The cooler light would probably be better.
Yeah.
And yeah, the overhead lighting, even in here, I'm always like when I'm trying to do videos, I'm always like moving it around and I'm like, what the heck?
It's
This
so
lighting's
hard,
the
I know.
worst. There's these poor girls, they look like they have these horrible shadows under their
Oh.
eyes and then they move a little and it's gone and you're
Yeah.
like, yeah, it's my bad
I
lighting.
know.
So really just focusing it out on this outer corner here. And now I'm gonna go in, so that was this color. So I'm gonna pull that up here. So that one. And then I'm gonna go into this one. So these are all just like very neutral browns. You could buy these from Mud, but then you'd have to buy the palettes and you have to put the whole palettes together and blah, 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 blah. And there's nothing wrong with that, but I mean, when they have a really nice one already put together for
Yeah.
like $40, you know, why the heck not?
Right. Yeah, if it's too much work for me, I wouldn't do it.
Yeah, I don't know. Sometimes it's nice to customize a palette, but if all you're doing is neutrals, it's kind of silly.
Yeah.
So again, just focusing all out here and this little corner here. And the reason that we use a few different shades of brown that are all kind of similar and then they slowly get darker is blending, you know, just make your life easier, which is also what those naked palettes do. It just makes your life easier because they
Right.
have the transition of all those colors and you're not blending to death.
Right.
So you can kind of go lightest to darkest and then, you know, you're good. All right, looks good. So let's see. Okay, that's looking good. Okay. And then no top liner, right?
Well, I just, what I mean is like, I don't do it
Oh,
on
in
top
the
of the
water line.
Yes.
Okay, I got ya. Okay. So let's do, you could go crazier with your eyeshadow, but we're gonna just keep it
Yeah.
here. And you do kind of want to focus it out into here and then here onto, so your darker colors you want to have on your orbital bone and your
Okay.
lighter colors you want to have on your lid. That way we kind of push this back and pull this
Oh,
forward
okay.
a little bit.
Okay.
So let's do highlighter. So many different highlighters. Do you like pencil or do you like, what do you like better?
I use a pencil.
Okay. So let's see. Ooh,
Oh no.
just killing my bag there. I keep wanting to like set up a station here and just have drawers of this, but then I have to take the whole thing apart. I'm out of here doing this.
Oh.
You know what I mean? Even with weddings and stuff, I don't know our house afterwards. So I'm like,
Oh, do you do makeup for
I
weddings?
just started doing that like this year.
Oh,
I
that's
hadn't,
cool.
but there's just so much demand for it, and it's like
Yeah.
a good way to get the word out about the shop. It
Sure.
pays pretty good. Honestly, if I do one wedding, that's like almost half the rent right there, or more than half the rent right there.
Wow.
So
That's
what I'm
awesome.
doing.
How do you even get yourself out there to say, hey, I do weddings?
There are Lehigh Valley wedding pages.
Oh,
So you
okay.
can go on and like people look for a makeup artist or something, you can just comment and say like, oh, I'm available or whatever.
Oh, okay.
But then I don't know, just word of mouth, honestly. And I'm always posting on Instagram. I post the crap out of everything. All right, so we're just gonna go right above the tier line there. And this is a really cheap pencil. The only thing I don't like about it is sharpening it. I feel like it doesn't fit into any of my sharpeners well. So it's like a little too big for this part, a little too small for that part. And I have a few other sharpeners. It just never quite fits into the sharpener. So that's a pain in the rear end. But the dupe for this one is like a $30 pencil, and I've used those for years. I've used those pencils, and as soon as I started using these, I was like, oh, okay. L'Oreal makes all of them. It's Urban Decay. Urban Decay's 24/7 pencils are the same exact thing as the Maybelline Tattoo Studio pencils.
Oh, I know which ones you're talking about. Yeah.
It's the same thing. It's just a little bit shorter, and guess what? It's $7 instead of 30.
Oh
I'll
my
take
God.
that little bit of a shorter pencil.
For
Yeah,
sure.
come on. Like, there's definitely stuff that we can't cheap out on because it just doesn't look,
Yeah.
doesn't look great, or it doesn't blend well, or just whatever. But like pencils, heck yeah.
So you're literally going across the whole top,
Yep.
corner to corner.
Yep. Yeah, corner to corner. Here, take a look in the camera. What do you
yeah.
think?
Oh yeah, okay.
And then you could, if you wanted to. Now this is a little bit more like of a dramatic. You could just take like a little flick up there,
Okay.
and it's not like a wing, but just make like you can make a teensy
Oh,
little
yeah.
wing in there if you wanted to. But it looks nice without it too.
Okay,
So.
yeah. And then you're just putting it on, or do you smooth it out with a brush?
I was smudging it in a little bit with the brush because I was being a little paranoid about getting too close to your water line for you.
Okay.
So I was kind of smudging it in there so that I wasn't getting right on anything. I don't think I've ever had a full-on sty. I have gotten the start of a sty where it's just that little, you know what
Yeah.
I mean, and you're kind of feeling it, and
Oh yeah,
I
I've had
assumed that's
really
what
bad.
was happening, and so I did all the things to try to stop it, and it hurts.
It hurts.
And it didn't go into the full thing, and it hurt. I can't imagine what it feels like once it's like really a sty.
Yeah, like I didn't even want to blink. Like it hurt so much.
Oh,
You know, it was
God.
all because it went. I guess deep is what you would say. Because like it was tender, and like when you pull my eyelid away, you could see like there was something wrong.
Ooh.
The whole thing, you know.
Yeah.
And all you could do is get,
warm compresses.
and they give you like this eye gel, but it has
Oh, okay.
steroids in it, so they don't want you to use them too much.
Yeah. Steroids are horrible. Oh
Mhm.
my god, I just saw somebody post all this stuff about steroids today, and I was like, lady, no.
You mean promoting?
She's yeah, kind of like she's having an issue, but it's just allergies, and she's like, try this, try that. Now I'm just gonna do steroids, and I'm thinking, allergies are an autoimmune situation, and now you're gonna compromise your immune
Yeah,
system.
really.
Oh no! I was like, oh no! But that's what her doctor has her doing, and I'm like, why?
Oh.
Why? Oh why? Oh why? She's probably complaining so much about her allergies that her doctor just did something to shut her up. But I'm like, oh my god! All right, I'm gonna have you close. I can't imagine doing steroids. Oof. I've taken them a few times when I was younger, not realizing,
Mhm.
it was like the late 90s, early 2000s, and you don't have this information, and you're not even
Mhm.
20 yet, right? So,
Oh right, yeah.
so I'm like, okay, my doctor gave me this. Oh my god, I was like shaking. I was like,
Yeah, like it's too
it
much.
was really, really crazy. I never felt anything like that before. And then I'm young and I'm stupid. I'm not like thinking or connecting the dots. And so I kind of felt like it probably was a steroid. But now the next time my doctor goes and gives me a steroid, I'm like, oh, I'll just try it because maybe it wasn't. This doctor was like adamant about steroids. My old doctor was real
Oh,
weird
really?
about them. And I didn't know any better. So I did it the second time and I was like, and I'm like, nope, never. And like, that was it. That was it. No more.
Oh my god.
Oh gosh, I don't know how people like actually do that. Like for real, for real.
Oh, I know.
Like, jeez. I can't even do it for like an actual medical situation for more than like a day or so. I'm freaking out. Oh,
Well, it does mess with you.
it really does. And I was like, I was shaking, I was starving, and I was like,
Oh no.
angry.
Oh god.
all the
Oh
bad
god.
things, all the bad things.
It turned you into a bad
I was
person.
a rage monster. I was like, oh my god, this is crazy. This is terrible. All right, let's get your mascara. Oh, I'm very easily affected by medicine, so that was a bad one.
Yeah. Oh my god.
I didn't think it would do that. Especially, okay, so the one I did, this is where I was thinking, or why it made me think of it. The one I did was a nasal spray, and I just didn't even realize, I think I didn't realize it was a steroid. I'm thinking I'm just doing nasal spray.
Great.
For my allergies.
Oh no.
So like the eye drop thing, I didn't realize they did we don't even need to curl your eyelashes. You're nice and curled.
Okay. Cool.
But yeah, the steroid in the like the eye drop steroid, does that affect the same way that
I think it's more of a impairing your vision.
okay. Because could you imagine if
Yeah, could
I
you
really
imagine?
didn't think about it when I did the nose thing. I just thought it was like
Yeah.
allergy stuff and I was being real weird.
Yeah.
I realized
It didn't
after.
impact me, although I don't know if I've ever used a steroid for anything else, but I think she was more concerned because I had told her in between I had appointments, I ended up getting one and I used the steroid stuff and she's like, don't ever do that again. It's a steroid. We want to limit it. So I'm like, oh crap, so.
Oh jeez.
But I have been doing a good job of keeping them away, so that's good.
That is good. So I'm just gonna get right up in here with this mascara. And then, does your mascara affect it, do you think?
Well, that's why I switched. I was using like CoverGirl or something,
Okay.
and then they told me to use like Neutrogena, anything that's like more
Okay.
like hypoallergenic.
Got ya. So this is Maybelline. Hopefully you're okay with this. It doesn't do anything weird to me, and my eyelashes, the roots of my eyelashes hurt from certain mascaras.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Like some of them will actually be painful for me, and this one isn't. So fingers crossed that this isn't
Yeah.
going to be a weird formula for your eyes.
I almost brought my mascara, and I'm like, And then of course I was in such a rush to leave the house. I didn't. Even if I had planned to do it, it would still be at my house.
Yeah. Oh gosh, I have to put everything with my keys and like wrap my keys around it, or it's
Yeah.
out of my head. I got mom brain, business brain, all the things. Okay, so.
Yeah, my bottom lashes are barely existent.
Yeah, there's not a lot there.
I know, it's disgusting.
Oh, no,
Olympia
it's
has
not.
such gorgeous eyelashes.
Why is that?
Thank God you got them, man, because holy cow, I don't have.
Oh gosh. All right, so here, take a look. Now, my other thought is we can do some bottom liner too, but you could do it this way. So I'm just kind of giving you some different
Okay.
options. So you could just do it like this and not do the bottom eyeliner, but we're gonna do a little bit of bottom eyeliner so
Okay.
you see it with that too. Because there's just so many options, you know? It's like how dramatic do you want to be, or how tired do you feel like you look
Oh,
that
yeah,
day,
right, yeah.
or, you know, things like that. How did I lose my pencil already? I set it to the side to clean it, and what did I do with it already? I'll get a different one. It's not like I don't have 1,000 of them. Alright. So, now this you could do, I don't love that like hard line on the bottom, so I do it this way, but you
Okay.
could just put the pencil right on and smudge it if you wanted to.
Okay.
But I'm gonna kind of skip the middleman and just go right for this. And then I'm not gonna do, I just don't like that hard line on the bottom. I don't know. I think because of all the ladies in the 80s that did like such a
Very severe, yeah.
Yeah, really severe. I actually had somebody ask me to do permanent eyeliner on the bottom only, and she's paler than either of us and blonder than either of us. And I thought, oh no, heck No.
So you advised against it. She
Yeah,
was
I
okay
told her
with that.
that. Yeah. Because that just looks so unbalanced to me. And she puts it on really heavy too. She's on my Facebook. She's like runs the Lehigh Valley Moms group.
Oh, okay.
So that's another thing too. I'm like, I'm not doing something on you that's gonna look.
Well, that's
crazy.
true. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Where'd you get it done? Oh, we'll
Yeah,
never go there.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's so many things to consider when you're doing
Yeah,
that.
she does it like it's really thick and just black on the bottom, and then she doesn't wear any other makeup. She makes her whole rest of her face just paled out. I'm thinking, nope,
No.
Nope.
No.
thank you. I appreciate that you want to come to me, really do, but I am not leaving you with the and eyeliner does not really fade. Other stuff will
Oh.
fade, but eyeliner really doesn't. It's a carbon-based pigment. It's a different area. It's really protected. There's not a lot of oil production there.
Yeah.
It stays. I'm like, That damn heater. How are you liking your new job now that you're in the swing of it?
I like it a lot.
Good.
Yeah, I'm thrilled. Because my last job, I don't know. Well, so the last time I was here, was I in between? No, I had started a different job,
Ah. Okay.
which I got laid off from in November.
Oh, I didn't know that. Jeez.
And then, but I hated that job.
Was it like something with like the oh my god, you had to like tell everybody where they were going, what they were doing?
Yeah, it was like project manager. Yeah. I hated it, so I guess getting laid off wasn't such a bad thing.
Yeah, that's true. What are you doing now then?
Well, I'm back into what I used to do, which is logistics, so like
Okay.
shipping and stuff. So I'm actually working for a very small bread company. They're called Sola, S-O-L-A.
I've heard of them. Yeah.
And
Are they where are they? I've
they're-
definitely heard of them.
Well, they're in a lot of stores like Walmart and
Oh, okay.
different grocery stores. They are actually based though in, well, it's funny, corporate is based in Houston, Texas, but there's bakeries like in New Jersey, Florida, and Oklahoma.
Oh, okay.
But so I was hired to be in charge of all the Walmart business. So, and they're such a small company, you know, they're struggling to get everything where they need to get it. You know, you don't have the same power as like a big wig, right?
Yeah.
But things are coming along, so it's good. I really like it. My manager is like amazing.
That's good.
Yeah,
That's like a huge
it's
deal.
major. Yeah, my last manager was horrendous.
I'm just getting the little bits of foundation over your eyebrows.
Oh,
I'm not
okay.
doing anything exciting. Yeah, that's terrible to have, like, ugh, you have to go to work with that person every day or answer
Yeah.
that person every day. Ugh. There we go. Looks good. And then we gotta do a lip. I want to do a little bit more on your cheek, I think. Just, maybe it's the lighting in here. And then we'll do a lip, but we'll keep the lip pretty neutral too.
Okay.
Although you could definitely pull off different colors for sure. I feel like you could do like a berry pink. I feel like you could do just like a soft pink. You could do peaches. You could do a lot of different lip colors, but we'll keep it pretty
So if
neutral.
if I do that, then like with those Zoom calls, it's probably better to do the pinks and stuff,
Mhm,
right?
something that maybe pops a little bit more on camera.
Yeah.
Yeah. There we go. All right. And then let's see. We can do. Oh, there's too many lipsticks that I'm not depotted and put into the containers. I was pulling them all out the other day. All right. Let's see. Honestly, I use really inexpensive lipstick brands because unless you're going, like, let's say you're doing something insane like this,
Yeah.
or something really bold, you know, like that,
Oh
or that,
gosh,
or
yeah.
something. I feel like you can, like these colors, you can get away with cheap brands. They're not, I don't know, when it's really vibrant and it's cheap, it like falls flat. It almost looks, it looks cheap. You know, there's
Yeah.
something, I don't know what it is, it's just not quite right. And the depth of color is like not there. But when you're doing neutrals, I mean, honestly, most of my stuff is like Wet n Wild and Revlon and.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm. And I have had girls, like very expensive models. Oh my goodness, what is that color? I love that color. And I'm like, oh god, I cannot tell you that I just put Wet n Wild.
Oh my god, that's funny.
But I'm not even joking. They're like so, like they actually really work well. Like, look,
Oh yeah.
it's not a bad color at all. Especially if you like shear it down a
Yeah.
little bit and put a little bit of lip gloss like that. That's such a nice color.
Well, that's so funny with the lip gloss thing. Olympia wanted the lip gloss that Ariana Grande has, and it's like you get that much of it for like $24.
Serious?
I'm like, Olympia. So I got her one that I didn't tell her was from Walmart. I'm like, here, try this. Well, she loves it.
That's funny.
I'm like,
That's a
okay,
good
well,
one.
it was $1.99,
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
and now she uses it all the time.
Yep. The only expensive lipstick I've gotten the girls is so bougie. I can't remember what it was called, but it's clear and it has all the flowers inside of it, and then it changes color.
Oh yes, yes,
it was
yes.
like $20, and I was like, oh god, but it was for Christmas, and I was like, you know what,
Yeah.
fine, whatever, because it is neat looking.
It
but-
is neat looking. I've seen it's
Yeah.
kind of like mood lipstick. or
Yeah,
something, right?
yeah. I'm like, all right, whatever, but nothing else, because it's just like you're really just paying for their marketing, their advertising. half the
Exactly.
time.
Yeah.
So I'm just gonna mix this with a little down gloss. You can mix it with lip balm. You don't have to mix it at all. So the colors, a lot of times I end up like I like the color, but me personally, and the shoots that I do, I'm like, it's a little bit too much. So if you
Okay.
just take like a little bit and just shear it,
Oh,
but
okay.
you don't have to. You could definitely use it however you wanted to use it, but I just always feel like it just gives, it's just a little more subtle.
Mm-hmm.
Like you still get that nice color and that nice whatever, but it's subtle.
Yeah, that way, like, because then sometimes I'm like taking a tissue and
Mm-hmm.
you know that kind of defeats the whole purpose.
Because I don't know, even if it's a really pretty color, when it's like the full like opacity of it, it's
Yeah.
just. Especially, I feel like you and I have similar skin tone and things like that. Like my face is really red, the rest of me is not.
Mm-hmm.
And just for me, if I am adding so much like red and so much other color,
Oh, yeah.
it's too much.
Exactly. Yeah.
And I'll tell you which one this is. It's Demure. I'll put it up on the screen here too.
Oh, okay.
Demure from Revlon. It's not even anything exciting. So there we go. And then more Revlon, and that way you can kind of see that it's Revlon. Okay.
Thank you.
But what do you think about the color? You like that color?
Oh, yeah,
You
I
could
do.
definitely go more bold
No,
than
I
that,
like
and you
it.
could pull it off. But for like a normal, neutral, just day-to-day color for you, that's really pretty.
Yeah, I think it's good.
And it's probably like $6.
Oh my God, that's crazy.
$6.
You know, I have purchased the Wet n Wild stuff before too. But see, now that's nice because it's a cream. Sometimes when I get home and I'm not thinking about it, when I buy the Wet n Wild, it has like the shimmer in it.
Frosty,
And then I don't like
a
that.
little shimmer is okay, but when it's like frosty, you feel like
Yes.
you've revisited the 90s.
Exactly,
in a really bad
yes,
way.
yeah.
I don't like that. That heavy eyeliner and then that heavy highlight here. All of those things make me go, oh god.
I know.
And when they start coming back in style, I'm like, I can't even wrap my head around it because they were bad when
It was
we
a
were in
bad
style
idea
the
then.
first time. Yeah. And I'm on set sometimes and people are asking, I had Sorelli, I do shoot the jewelry company, I do shoots for them sometimes. They were trying to get me to do that Y2K like weird hair thing.
yeah.
And I'm like, that was not pretty
Then.
it's not pretty now. And nobody liked it. I did it, and I did a fine job at it. But everybody was like, "Nope." I'm like, "Thank you." 'Cause
Yeah,
I did
really.
not want my name on that.
Mhm.
But oh Lord. So you can do your lip liner before or after. If you obviously we don't want like a lip liner look, but if you wanted to be a little more dramatic, you could put your lip liner first. If you do it
Okay.
second, now you already have cream for
Oh,
it to
yeah.
blend into. So here, if you want to look before we blend.
Okay, yeah, I see.
So now we shaped it. I didn't change anything with your shape. I just kind of followed. But now I'm just going to take this And you can skip the lip liner too. You don't have to do that.
Mm-hmm.
It's just like another option. So here, now it's blended.
Oh yeah.
And it blended right in without doing anything because it was already like creamy
Yeah.
surface. So
Now where do you get this?
this is a Kevin Aquan one. I don't have to go that expensive.
You don't? Okay.
No, I don't like. Okay, so I don't like NYX. In
Okay.
general, don't like them, but they actually do have some decent lip liners. So
Oh,
you could
okay.
do like a NYX lip liner and get away with it. I've noticed that like Maybelline and Revlon and some of the other like cheaper but not as cheap as like NYX kind of bringers,
Yeah.
they're almost chalky. Have you ever noticed that?
Yes, I have.
Yeah, and even if it's
Like
like
they don't even want to go on.
yeah, and even if it whatever, like it doesn't matter what color it is, it doesn't matter. It's like weird and chalky. I don't know. So, but the NYX ones seem to work okay, but the Kevin Aquan ones are super duper nice, but it's definitely like $25 a stupid pencil. So, yeah. And of course, all my fancy things go into my kit and not into my own personal
Of course, right?
So anything that's like a reject is in my
Oh, yeah.
personal stuff. This wasn't good enough to go and make a kit work, so I'll just use it. Oh gosh.
So now with the lip liner,
Mm-hmm.
do you go substantially darker than the color? Like how do you
No,
pick?
so I usually pick based on like your natural lip color. So
Okay.
like let's say, because most of the time you're going to be doing neutrals, right?
Yeah.
So if you base it off of your own lip color, it's going to kind of blend in and match no matter what, right?
Okay, that's
But
smart.
if you're doing like a bold color, then maybe you do want to match it to the lipstick if you're doing something really crazy. But,
Okay.
you know, that's like a one-off
Okay,
situation.
that makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay.
But this way, it just kind of goes with anything.
Yeah.
So here, take a look at that.
Oh yeah, it looks good.
That looks really good. And then the only other thing, you could probably put like another coat or two of mascara or something if you wanted to, but I feel like this looks really good. Is there anything that you were hoping to see or play with or?
No, I don't. Like Olympia always wants me to put like, she's big on the bronzer. Like she's always wanting me to put, and I'm always shying away from it because I don't want to be shiny.
Yeah.
And I don't, you know what I mean? So.
You could, okay, so if you wanted to do more bronzer in more places, what you could do.
Well, I guess the question is, should I? Because I shy away from it, but then Olympia keeps insisting this is what you're supposed to do.
There's no, like, okay, there are certain things that you're supposed to do. Like, you always want to keep things lifted, and you always
Yeah.
want to, you know, blend things. And there's, like, all these things that I'm telling them, like, you could do this, but you could add this, or you don't have, like, it's just kind of what
Right.
you want at the end of the day. How dramatic are you trying to be, or what's your
Right,
goal
for-
that you're, what's your goal for that look that you're creating?
Right.
And then
Okay.
just ask yourself that, and then do whatever that dictates. Now, if you are going to do the bronzer, there's almost nothing left on this. That's where I would do it, is when there's almost nothing left on it. I wouldn't even like really dip back in,
Right.
unless for some reason, like, oh god, this looks really pale, you know. But
Right.
I wouldn't. I would just take that little bit that's left and just kind of go and buff it up and around, maybe up into the forehead a little. Maybe you could just do like a little on the jaw. But you're
Okay.
not gonna go like crazy
Right.
with it, because then it's gonna be too obvious that you did it. It's just gonna be really obvious. So
Okay.
I don't know. And I think some of the things too, again, they're for photo shoots. Like
Yeah.
some of it's TikTok is doing entertainment. How boring would it be if all they did was normal makeup all the time and what you're actually supposed to do all
Right.
the time? Like everybody
Yeah,
would be
nobody would
bored.
want to watch, right?
So they're doing weird stuff sometimes, and then other times it's like, oh wow, that's really beautiful, but it was beautiful because of this lighting and this outfit, and because she was posed this exact way and everything, you know.
Right.
So you gotta
Yeah.
take that into account too.
Right,
So
that all matters.
yeah, there's a lot of variables and factors. Oh, let me
Oh yeah.
pause. We'll pause.